The MG Trophy Championship is brought to you by X-Part, the original MG Rover parts business. Hi everyone, welcome along to the MG Trophy Championship, which arrives for its annual visit to Donington Park. As we arrive here, the championship looks like this. Joe Delgado a solitary point clear of Jason Burgess, who leads Class A. Josh Bromley third from Class C leader Matt Harvey. Then it's James Dennison and Tyler Ballard. Adam Jackson is seventh from Patrick Booth. James Cole and Jack Chapman wrapping up the top 10. Many more drivers itching to get into the top 10 of the proceedings as preparation gets underway here for our fourth race meeting of the season. One of those drivers hoping to break into the top 10 this weekend is Doug Cole.
I'm here with Doug Cole. Doug, you got double pole today, so hopefully you'll be up the front, keep just pulling away from Jason. You had 2 seconds at Silverstone, didn't you? But it was very close at the end of one of the races.
Yeah, we had a good run at Silverstone. I mean, we were having a good race with Adam, and Jason got away a little bit, and we were tangling a little bit, and there was Patrick involved, and we was having a couple of good races, and Jason just got the thing. Especially on the second race, I actually was catching him up, but it was just I got to a point where I thought I'm going to throw this off if I go any quicker, so I'll just bag second, because the sort of last year I've had with these cars, it's just been a nightmare. So a couple of good second places was good.
I think the stat was you almost raced 30 miles at Silverstone, bumper to bumper with Adam. So hopefully you'll be out there again, hopefully pushing Jason as well.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, Adam and I, we did both races and we never touched once. I mean, that's the sort of racing you want, really close. He could have run me off loads of times, I could have run him off loads of times, but it's not like that. We get on well together and have a good race. Same with Jason. I mean, we've all raced together for years now. I've raced Jason, he's been in last trophy. So hopefully we'll get a good start later on, and hopefully I'll see him in the mirror, and we won't be racing in the bumper to bumper, because my last lap was I was actually 3 green bars up on the solo and come across Kaylee at Coppice, so we sort of had to back out of it a little bit. So I think that would have been even quicker. Well, it would have been definitely, but yeah, I was quite pleased when I saw it. It was a 20.6. I thought that'll do. It's close enough.
I'm here with Aston Wigley. He's new to our Class B this year. How you find it with your pace against the other guys?
I feel like I'm on pace with the other guys, but we're just struggling with a bit of power to the car right now, so we're trying to get that right.
You had a DNF at the first race at Silverstone, which obviously put you out for the second race, which was a bit unfortunate, but how do you find racing on such a big track such as Silverstone?
That was quite an experience, to be fair. The track's so big compared to all the other ones, but shame we don't get a lot more track time there.
Doug Cole heads Adam Jackson around. Now, that means that Jason Burgess, who should have been lining up second, he's not there. Jason starting from pit lane, we're hearing. Paul Savage a little bit further back. He's in one of the 190 class cars as well. The orange sun strip you'll see on those. Yellow on the 170s, white on the 160s. Lights go out and we are MG Trophy Racing. Round 7 of the 2022 Championship. Super start by Tyler Ballard, but ahead of him was Josh Bromley, who sees a Jason Burgess size gap and moves up into second place, just got his nose in front of Adam Jackson as they go into Redgate. Jason Burgess, third car in line, coming out pit lane, so a late tyre change for those 4 cars. They've got a huge amount of work to do, and we'll be hoping for vastly different conditions by the end, or maybe a safety car to get stuck in. But it's Doug Cole leading as they go down through the Grainers for the first time into the old hairpin. Josh Bromley is in third place. Jack Chapman followed by James Dennison, who's dicing with Aston Wigley in the green and gold car. So coming up towards McLean's for the first time, and Doug Cole under a bit of pressure here from Adam Jackson, the Leeds man giving chase. Pretty close at the moment for the 170 class lead. Josh Bromley there at the moment. Josh qualifying on pole from Tyler Ballard, James Dennison, Joseph Delgado. James Cole actually qualified in 5th, and he's already up to 2nd in class, so this is good stuff from James Cole, challenging for the class lead. In car with Patrick Booth, looking back at Paul Savage. Patrick normally runs in the 190 class but had a blown engine on Friday in testing, and therefore has come out. This is for the lead. James Cole side-by-side lead of the 170, side-by-side with Josh Bromley. Looks across, very smooth from James Cole, who takes the lead. That was lovely, clean, fair racing, and James Cole has got the lead from 5th on the grid in the 170 class. Paul Savage is going to pass Patrick Booth, side-by-side they are. Savage on the left of shot, red and yellow with the orange sunstrip, looking to get in touch of course with Doug Cole out front and Adam Jackson in 2nd place, but he's got a lot of work to do to close in on those. Jason Burgess has work to do as well, starting from pit lane. He was the only 190 class car starting from pit lane, so effectively to improve on his points position he's got to clear 8, 9 170s. I think he's cleared the 160 class cars already. James Dennison under pressure from Jack Chapman. Dennison in black, Chapman in the red, white and blue. Ahead of them is Joe Delgado, the championship leader. That is the race leader. It's Doug Cole out front. First pole position, I think, since 2019, so not that long ago. It was a limited campaign in 2019. We've got Doug and James, father and son, leading respective classes. I'm not sure if that's happened before. I certainly don't recall it. Chapman didn't manage to get past James Dennison, and the thing you'll see from the 170 class is that it's the most populous in this championship. Also, I think very, very close indeed. We've had different winners. The points are close in the championship, and Paul Savage has to work amongst those swathes of 170s to work his way through up to the 190 class at the head of the field. Just listening as he changes up along the Wheatcross straight. He'll try and look down the inside of the 97 car. So Savage passes Josh Bromley. Josh 3rd in the championship. In car with Josh again, looking at the 190 now ahead of him. James Cole still running in 3rd. James Cole here potentially on for a podium, an overall podium as well as a class win, and he won't be overly worried about the podium because it is class points that count. But so that would be a good thing for him, and it looks like a problem for Jack Chapman slowing, and John Donnelly's going to go through. Some great liveries in this championship. John Donnelly's a real standout. Here's the race leader though, getting away from Adam Jackson at the moment. So it's Doug Cole, Adam Jackson, James Cole in 3rd place, Paul Savage 4th. Savage's mission now will be to close down on James Cole. 5th position, 2nd in class is Josh Bromley, that's the 170s. Joe Delgado on for a podium in the 170s at the moment. That will, I think, when we consider his relative position to Jason Burgess, will bolster his chances of remaining in the championship lead, the overall championship lead. It's tricky comparing where people are in classes. The 170s get slightly more points because there are more starters. So Paul Savage closing in. It's been a good drive thus far from Paul Savage, trying to work his way up from 11th place in qualifying, so he's up into 4th. This has been good. He may have that power advantage, but he's got to deal with the conditions, deal with the other cars, which he's done fairly, and not interrupted anybody's race, and closing down on James Cole. Meanwhile, Jason Burgess starting to catch a bit of traffic, or a bit more traffic we should say. There is the number 16, the Carrot Racing 16 car, which we've seen Fred Burgess, Jason's son, racing in recent seasons. Now, Jason coming into this race, as we come back to Jason Burgess, there is Sam Meagher, newcomer to the championship at Silverstone, had 9th in class in the first race at Silverstone, DNF in the second one sadly, but looks like he could be on for some championship points here, and maybe a second finish as Jason Burgess makes the move here in the 16 car. As we said, shared in recent seasons with Oh, that's Jack Chapman's car going off onto the grass, back of shot. Now, is that actually into retirement or just pulling out of the way? I think he's trying to get the car back to pit lane. Doug Cole's still the leader. And here is Doug, acknowledged as always having good results here, or very often having good results at Donington Park. And the DC Motorsport machine having a good lead here. Good pole position. There is Jack Chapman nursing that number 8 car back, and Sam Meagher will go on his outside as across the line again goes Doug Cole from Adam Jackson. Paul Savage challenging for 3rd place overall. Coming down into red gates, you can look at the inside, too far back from James Cole at the moment. James not overly defensive, and I don't think will be, because his main focus is going to be the class win. So Jason Burgess passed Joe Delgado. 2nd place in the overall championship, passes championship leader, as one would expect. So Joseph Delgado, again, I've got to try and work the pointer. I think they're both 4th in class at the moment, Delgado and Burgess, but Delgado should get more points based on more starters in class, but again, we'll have to confirm that for you. So Paul Savage still trying to close down on James Cole. This is the run through Schwantz now, the left-hander into the right-hander at McLean's. Uphill, they continue uphill out of this corner, and then into the double apex coppice, which is where the race leader Doug Cole is at the moment. Adam Jackson still not being totally left in 2nd place. This the scrap for 3rd. Paul Savage continues to try and close down onto what used to be known as Exhibition Straight. The Exhibition Centre, the building is still there, but being used for other things these days. As Savage challenges for 3rd, James Cole on the brakes. Savage neatly through on the inside. Quick look in the mirror from James Cole to see if anyone else is coming. Sorts the chicane out and will now chase Paul Savage. Thumbs up from James Cole. Yeah, nice clean move. Great stuff from him. Tyler Ballard now passed by Jason Burgess, so Jason working his way through the field. Is Jason Burgess going to do any better than 4th place though? This for 4th position then in the 170 class. Patrick Booth to the outside of Joseph Delgado. Going to have to do some sums in terms of the championship positions after the race. Paul Savage though is up into 3rd, as we saw before the break, and just behind him James Cole. We were talking earlier also about changing conditions, and it's very definitely raining now. You can see from the camera at McLean's corner, this is going to make things certainly slower in the race. Fastest lap at the moment is with Jason Burgess. The question is, does the change in weather affect his tyre choice? We'll see how much further Jason can get up the order, but James Cole there in green, still leading the 170 class, 4th position overall, and he's got a good lead at the moment in class, down the exhibition straight once again. That's Kaylee Powell that they're closing in on now. So Kaylee in the 55 car had 2 good finishes at Brands Hatch, her home track, at the opening round of the championship back on the 20th of March. Seems like an age ago now. And look at Doug Cole still there. Adam Jackson in 2nd. Big gap back to Paul Savage in 3rd. And a reminder, Savage has come through from the 11th position grid slot. So good drive from Savage to come through. James Cole next up. Kaylee Powell next in shot. Kaylee still running 2nd in the 160s, which is headed by Matt Harvey at the moment. Matt 4th in the championship. Again, won't score as strongly as the leading drivers in 170s because of the number of drivers in that class. Jason Burgess still working his way through the field. Kaylee Powell sticks to the outside of the track, allows Jason through. That was great driving from Kaylee Powell, learning her craft of racing. And Patrick Booth now closing down on Tyler Ballard. So here is Jason about to pick off Josh Bromley. So again, thumbs up. Some great respect being shown around the circuit today from these guys and girls. Really absolutely superb stuff. Difficult conditions. You can tell it's difficult when you have 4 cars starting from pit lane, and there is the leader of those, Jason Burgess, unbeaten so far this year. 4 race wins on the bounce, 2 at Cadwell Park, 2 at Silverstone, Three wide momentarily there as Patrick Booth looks on the inside as they come up into Coppice corner. Tyler Ballard on the outside. Tyler with the fresh door on the car. You can see after the incident at earlier on in the season, Patrick Booth enjoying his racing in the 170s. I know he'd have much preferred to have been racing in the 190s, but again showing that he's a class racer and getting stuck in, but so too is Tyler Ballard out front. Tyler having dealt with the 4G Racing entry challenge for the moment. So Josh Bromley there, the second of these cars, is second in the 170 class. James Cole, the class leader. Here is James in the green at number 88. And looking pretty safe at the moment. He's got the fastest lap in class as well. That was on lap 4, a 1:32.222 seconds, 77 miles an hour. In these conditions is a very good performance from James Cole. Sam Meagher coming under pressure from John Donnelly. Again, a good battle for class position in the 170s. And Donnelly will tee up Meagher, a newcomer, only passed his arts course in May this year, and Donnelly's getting the run, got the experience of course John of the 160 category here, and goes through on the outsides. It's great stuff for Sam Meagher, really building his racing experience. Again, you can see in the 4G Racing prepared number 5, novice cross on the back of the car. And learning in difficult conditions here. John Donnelly has done well there to get ahead of Sam. That's for 7th position in the 170s. And John Donnelly in the 76 running well. There is Adam Jackson, man from Leeds. Again, rather sparse in terms of finishes this year. Second in race 1 at Brands Hatch, and a brace of thirds at Silverstone last time. So looking to get his season on track, very much like Doug Cole at the moment. Who knows where we're going to be at the end. There are drop scores to take into account. Jason Burgess can't drop any more in the 85 car out of the top 10. James Dennison is in a similar situation, as is James Cole. And Doug Cole, if he can get into the top 10 of the championship, will be in a similar scenario, having missed a round. But championship does facilitate that, miss rounds, and it's a good thing. It can allow holidays or family celebrations, or indeed some mechanical maladies, which seems to have befallen Andrew Herron, the former junior drag racer, who pulls up onto the grass. So maybe Andrew will be able to get re-going. James Dennison closing in on Kaylee Powell now, so Kaylee will have a look in her mirrors and pulls to the outside as they go down into Hollywood. So James Dennison currently on his way to 6th in class. Those two having a lonely race of it. These two on. Sam Meagher closing in again on John Donnelly. So Sam lost a bit of ground after the pass, but he's now closing in and regrouping, trying to close down on John Donnelly for 7th position in class. There's Joe Delgado. Is Joe going to be leading the championship after this race? Again, we're going to have to do some sums. Great shot here. You see the dip down Exhibition Straight, which isn't always apparent from footage here at Donington Park, but that particular shot gives you a good line on it. And Delgado chasing Tyler Ballard. Tyler Ballard, class winner at Silverstone. And working well here. You can see Patrick Booth in front, but Joe Delgado taking the battle to Ballard at the moment. Tyler is 4th in class, 2 points shy of James Dennison. Could get that back here, but he's going to lose a couple of points to Joe Delgado, who goes very neatly through on the inside. So a good pass for class position there. A good race between these. Let's see what Tyler can do as they go back down the hill. Is he going to be able to fight back? Patrick Booth clear of them. Patrick started 10th on the grid, so one of many drivers to have made progress in this race. Looks like the Delgado-Ballard battle is pretty much settled for the moment. Again, you can see the climb uphill here. Through Schwantz, into McLean's. Ballard changes down, back on the gas. Again, you can see the rise up towards Coppice. And Ballard at the moment not able to try and close in. Meanwhile, James Cole is on to the last lap. We can also see Matt Harvey in the red, black and white sunstrip. He's leading the 160 class here. Adam Jackson goes through second, but this X-Part MG Trophy race from start to finish has been led by Doug Cole. Jason Burgess has got the fastest lap though, and that is being retained at the moment, but this has been a flawless drive, I think, from Doug Cole. Oh, Tyler Ballard gets it all sideways, spins around on the exit of the chicane, and he's now beached in the gravel. That'll be very heavily waved yellows there. Here's a replay from on board with Tyler when he was chasing Joe Delgado, and you just stuck there now. The College Motors machine sadly stuck in the gravel. That's a big pity. It's going to promote some of the other 170 drivers, including John Donnelly, who is at the head of shot here. Coming up into Coppice Corner, Doug Cole is there and he's the leader. Adam Jackson in white is still in second position, and Doug's going to take the win. It's Andrew Heron in the mix as well. Here comes Doug down the straight, just the chicane to negotiate. He'll be concentrating on this one to pick up his first win of the season. Out of the chicane, past Tyler Ballard's car on the exit of that chicane. He will look for the checkered flag, which is being waved now. On board with Doug Cole, who takes the win in round 7 of the championship here at the X-Part MG Trophy meeting. Cole the winner, Adam Jackson is second, Paul Savage third. Now 170 class led by James Cole. We're looking back, this is Jason Burgess in fourth place. James Cole has taken the win in the 170s. Jason Burgess, there is Cole. James Cole wins, it's father and son wins in MG Trophy racing. Jason Burgess from a pit lane start takes 5th position, 4th in class. Then it's 97 Josh Bromley, 2nd in the 170s. Patrick Booth will complete the podium for the 170 class ahead of Joseph Delgado and James Dennison. But Doug Cole with pole position here. We knew Doug was going to be a difficult man to beat at Donington, and his son James, it's a father and son double. A little bit of history in the making here in the X-Part MG Trophy race here at Donington Park. And well done to Matt Harvey, who wins again in the 160 class in his immaculate car. If you want to start racing, the 160's a superb place to start. The only bad thing, if there is such thing, the 160s, is that the drivers move on into the 170s and 190s. Confirmation of the result: Cole from Jackson and Savage, then James Cole winning the 170s, Jason Burgess next, Josh Bromley and Patrick Booth, Joseph Delgado, James Dennison and John Donnelly completing the top 10. Sam Meagher finishes 11th from Matt Harvey, who wins Class C. Andrew Heron recovered for 13th place, and a 14th place finish for Kaylee Powell. Fastest laps: Jason Burgess in 190, James Cole 170, Matt Harvey in 160. Time to chew things over in Parc Ferme. There'll be reflections on that race and a look forward, no doubt, to the second race of the day for all of our drivers, including our race winner, Doug Cole.
All right, we're back again with Doug Cole after race 1. A victory, Doug, and, well, couldn't have gone better for you.
No, it was good. Unfortunately, Jason decided we all sort of in our own 5 minutes what do we do, what to do, and I just voted for wets all round. Sort of had some second-hand intermediates on the front and decent wets on the back. Soft suspension off a little bit, not full soft, and just see what it's like. And it was pretty good, to be fair. Saw Jason dive for the pits after that one because I knew he had slicks on the front, and it was the right call, definitely wet, and Adam had a wet as well. And just sort of I was managing the gap with Adam really, and just sort of keeping him at arm's length. And if he speeded up, I speeded up. But had a couple of moments, had a couple of big slides, but yeah, it was all good fun.
I bet you were happy to see the rain halfway through the race sort of come down a bit just to cool the track off again.
Well, funny you said that actually, because actually when it rained the second time, it made the grip on the front quite bad. It was like made it greasy again. You sort of just getting to know what it was like, and then it started raining again, and it sort of made it quite greasy. But yeah, I mean, it cooled the tyres down a little bit, and so at the end of the day, I'll just keep Adam at arm's length, keep looking in the mirror, just keeping him at the same distance, at the same point, coming out of Coppice every time, and yeah, that was fine.
Well, you've actually made history during this race, you and James, being the first family duo to win both classes at the same time.
Yeah, I was going to say something, but it's on telly. But yeah, it's about time we won. He's been trying long enough. But yeah, he did really well. We were umming and ahhing about it. In the end, the last minute, he made a decision on putting wets as well because it started raining quite a lot out here, and I said, "You got to go wet." So he put the wets on as well, which was the right call. But Josh had wets on as well. He drove away from Josh, but he's good in the wet. James always has been good in the wet. He just needs to get his head right in the right place, and hopefully he can win a few more times. But well done to him.
Welcome back to Donington Park. Race 1 complete, and that means it's time for a rest for some drivers, no respite for others as they have to tend their cars and get them back out on track ready for our second race of the day. Preparation is extremely important, of course. In motor racing, the other thing that's vitally important is championship sponsors, and of course it's our pleasure to welcome Expart into the paddock this weekend. Catching up with Tim is Josh Bacon.
So I'm here with Tim. He's the new managing director of Expart and also the sponsor for this round at Donington, the Expart MG Trophy. Would you like to explain to us what Expart is?
So Expart is the old MG Rover parts division. So we are actually the supplier of all of the genuine MG Rover parts to the existing cars that are out there on the road at the moment. So yeah, that's where we come from. So we're part of the original factory manufacturing operation, and we've now taken that over as the aftermarket supplier. So we are continuing to supply the original equipment parts to the aftermarket.
And you're also looking to sponsor the next round at Alton Park, but I think that would be under a different name, is it?
It is, yes. Expart is one of 3 brands that we have within our group. The MotorClan group is made up of Expart, which is obviously the modern classics with the MG Rover brands. We also have a sister company called Lacey Classics, which is a supplier of parts to all of the traditional classic vehicles, so the MGBs and all of that sort of era of vehicle. And then we also own the Wooden Picket brand, which is originally associated with Mini and that side of the business. So we have a full range of coverage from all vehicles through from the 1950s all the way through to the noughties and the teenies, across a whole variety of brands, but with MG and Rover present in all of those.
So what did you see in the MG Trophy to headline as a sponsor for the trophy this round and at Alton Park?
Well, it's a fantastically close race series, and obviously the ZRs are close to our heart in that they are in the core of Expart's sort of territory, and with the close racing that comes through this, it's fantastically exciting and a great event to be part of.
So I'm here with Andrew Heron. Which do you prefer, Brands Hatch being short or this one, Donington, being quite long?
I prefer this one, but getting quick around here as well. I like Craner Corner as well. It's kind of a bit deceiving. You're going flat out through air, and it's a bit of an odd feeling, really. Rather than Paddock Hill Bend at Brands Hatch, really. So I prefer Donington Park.
So you're at Silverstone as well. How did you find being on such a prestigious track?
It was my first time ever going to Silverstone. I've never even watched a race at Silverstone, so it's quite an odd thing. I'd done the testing then, didn't know where I was on the first few laps, and then kind of got in the rhythm of it. And then pushing the car, pushing, and then lap times coming down drastically. So it was a pretty good experience.
In car with John Donnelly lining up 8th in 170s. Pole position going to Doug Cole, double pole position this weekend. Jason Burgess is alongside, and Doug and Jason, we're understanding as we go in car with James Cole looking for another win. We'll come back to that in a moment because we're about to go lights out. No time to say anything in the build-up, and Jason Burgess gets away very quickly. Burgess leads, Doug Cole in second place. Third position will be Adam Jackson. Again, it was a great start by Josh Bromley, who goes up into third. So Bromley up into third. Joseph Delgado chasing as well, with Tyler Ballard on the inside. James Cole on the outside run goes a little bit wide. Aston Wigley gets tagged by John Donnelly and is around in front of the traffic. That could have been a lot worse, but thankfully the reactions of the drivers behind were very good. They managed to get checked up. But it's Jason Burgess that leads this race from Doug Cole. Wow, what a start. Not the start we wanted for Aston Wigley for sure. Patrick Booth with James Dennison. And here's the view from Jason Burgess. Good job we got the rear-facing camera, or is it? Because side by side is Doug Cole now on the left. Doug trying to go around the outside. That was, again, good clean racing between the pair of them. Jason trying to back out of any potential contact that we might have had between the two cars. They're still side by side at the moment. Cole on the outside. The two of them had an agreement before the start of the race. They'd run with the same tyre configuration. Slicks on the front, wets on the back. Great that the drivers had that chat before the race, and it does really sort of big up the camaraderie in the paddock which we have here. Still side by side. Lesser championships would have seen cars being fired off left, right and centre, but these boys still racing hard, and it's Doug Cole in P2 but looking for the race lead. He wants to go away with a Donington double, but Jason Burgess equally wants to get the race win after 4th position in race number 1. Coming back up into 3rd now is Adam Jackson. Jackson, I think, racing on all slicks. We'll get confirmation of that after the race, but now Burgess runs wide and Cole through on the inside. Again, could have door handled but didn't. Managed to get the car checked up in time, found the inside line without any rubbing at all. Wonderful move for the lead for Doug Cole, but we've got to see now if Jason Burgess can chase back. So coming down into the old hairpin, they're going to have to be mindful of Adam Jackson in behind. It's Josh Bromley leading Class B. Now, points-wise, we'll come back to points in a minute because we're on board with Tyler Ballard. So Tyler busy chasing and looking for another race finish here after his DNF in race number 1 right to the end. That was cruel luck for Tyler. Here come the race leaders though. Big sort out over the first few laps, always tends to happen. Patrick Booth under pressure from Tyler Ballard. Patrick, bit of a spoiler really for the 170s. Great to have him out on track, and it's just making the 170 boys have to work that little bit harder for those championship points. And Patrick looking on the outside, of course he's not going to be challenging for 170 championship honours. He will still score points towards the overall championship. Still side by side at the moment with Josh Bromley as they go across the line. So this is for the 170 class lead. Where is James Cole in all this? A little bit further back is James, but it's Josh Bromley out front. Patrick Booth side by side for the lead in the 170s. Is he going to be able to do this? Tyler Ballard reading things well, susses out the inside is the place to be, goes back into 2nd position. Patrick Booth still working though. James Dennison challenging for a podium as well. James Dennison, class winner at Cadwell Park, had a brace of retirements at Brands Hatch and then bounced right back at Cadwell with 4th position overall, had an overall podium at Cadwell too. 3rd position overall, winning class for James Dennison. As I say, it's such a competitive championship, and James 3rd in Class B behind Joseph Delgado and Josh Bromley. There's Andrew Heron, isn't it? Oh, and Andrew Heron goes down, spins into, I'll tell you what, not the first car, not the last car, I think today, as Kaylee Powell checks up, manages to avoid Andrew Heron's car. Now, can Andrew get that restarted? Bearing in mind that Andrew's previous racing experience was all in a straight line doing junior dragsters, and fascinating interview with Josh Bacon in that he'd never been to Silverstone. He didn't know the track at all, and it's a big track to have to learn. And now going through side by side, Jason Burgess back into the lead. What a race we're having at the front here. What a shame Jason started from pit lane in race number 1. Doug Cole probably would have liked to have had a bit of a workout as well. And it's Jason Burgess, the race leader again. Adam Jackson keeping that watching brief in 3rd. Well, in reality, not watching anything, he's just trying to get on terms with these guys. So Jason Burgess, remember, is chasing back the championship lead here. By my maths, he's joint leader with Delgado now, because Burgess picked up 12 points, the same as Delgado in race number 1. He was a point down coming into the meeting, but gets a point for fastest lap. So by my maths, joint championship leader at the moment is Jason Burgess. That's not taking into account drop scores for the likes of Tyler Ballard, which I haven't been able to do. But what a battle we've got on for the lead. Doug Cole is now challenging to get back in front again. Remember, running on the same tyre setup. Slicks on the front, wets on the back. Doug Cole the chaser. Jason Burgess out front. Jason far from race rusty this year. 4 wins on the bounce, as I mentioned in race number 1. 4th position in our first race of the day. Couple of cars in pit lane. We've got Paul Savage there. There is Kaylee Powell in 55, trying to get another finish. 4th finish of the year for Kaylee Powell in the offing here, and running 2nd to Matt Harvey in the 160 class. So Doug checks out the outside as they run into the chicane. Now these two battling, as well as the changeable conditions, might play into the hands of Adam Jackson, who is behind. And Jackson focused on trying to close on these two. Lights ablaze for Doug Cole, goes to the outside here at Redgate. Is he going to go for the cutback? He'd have to be brave in these conditions to try the outside run. He's not going to do that. It is going to be about momentum for Doug. Let's see what he can do as they head down into the Craner curves once again. Is he too far back? Is the camera accentuating the gap between these two cars? Very possibly not. Doug starting to close in now, so that extra momentum. He's not going to be able to do anything as they come down to the old hairpin. Adam Jackson still there from Josh Bromley in the 97 car, running in 4th place and still the class leader. There is Matt Harvey looking for another class win in the 160s, and I was saying earlier on, the 160s sort of a victim of its own success, because we've seen a lot of very good drivers come into the 160s and then move on very quickly, and in part that's what it's about. And it is a shame not to have more drivers in the 160s, but it is nonetheless a great way for people to come into the championship, learn a little bit about the racing in the standard power class, and then move on if they want to. But there's still some racing to be had in that class. That's what we've seen Kaylee Powell and Matt Harvey doing this year. There is Aston Wigley, immaculate 4G racing machine for Aston, who sadly had a non-finish in race number 1. Not having a bad time of it in this one for sure. Aston down behind Joe Delgado, the championship leader. That's how competitive the 170s are. Meanwhile, making a little bit of a break now is Jason Burgess. So Burgess getting a little bit clear of Doug Cole. Doug, we know, will not give up. He will fight on. He's got his lights on still, but Jason Burgess is out front. The man who got fastest lap in race number 1. That bonus championship point could come into play at the end of the year for Jason, but having missed the opening round of the year, is very much on the back foot. James Cole, the race 1 winner in the 170s, under pressure from James Dennison here at Donington, and we'll have more for you after the break. Welcome back to Donington Park and the MG Car Club X-Part MG Trophy races. This is race 2. This is in car with James Cole, who gets lots of opposite lock. Well held, James keeps it on the tarmac, but the 170 class race 1 winner, that effectively extinguishes hope of a class win in this one. We're in car with Tyler Ballard. Sad DNF for him in race number 1, working hard. These are the lead cars in the 170s. Josh Bromley heading Tyler Ballard. Patrick Booth is 3rd, then James Dennison in 4th place from James Cole. Then it's Andrew Heron. I think Andrew a lap down after his issues earlier on, but still gaining in lap times and gaining confidence, improving his lap times, as you heard him say in the interview. That's what he has to do, and that's what he's doing, to be fair. Absolutely. Now, as past Joe Delgado goes Aston Wigley, so a good move there by the 18-year-old. Joe Delgado is by no stretch of the imagination one of the older drivers. He's just 20 years of age, the man from Tadley in Hampshire. And this the view from Doug Cole, looking to try and make it a double, and we've seen the lead swap a couple of times already, but Jason Burgess won't be phased from the lights on Doug Cole's car. Closes in, under braking. I tell you what, I thought that Burgess was getting away on the previous laps, but Doug Cole is having something of a resurgence here. He'll chase the inside, but it's being defended by Burgess at the moment, keeping it over towards the right. Out to the left comes the chasing car, slightly less so as we look on camera. It's right, of course, as we face the cars coming down the straight. And into Redgate is Jason Burgess getting defensive, and Cole's going to have a look down the inside. Is there room? There's touch on the car, and off goes Burgess onto the grass. Jason Burgess. Oh, that's game over for Jason Burgess. Bounces over the grass, and Doug Cole, there was I saying in race number 1 about how little touching there'd been, how much space everybody was giving each other. I suppose it had to end at some point, and just a little bit of a rub from Doug Cole going down into the Craner curves, and it's Cole now who's got the lead. I'm sure there was absolutely there would not have been any malice in that move. I know I say that a lot on racing, but it is absolutely the case. But a little bit of contact. Burgess has recovered well in 2nd position. We've still got Adam Jackson in 3rd trying to close up. So there's our third place car and our podium complete effectively in the 190s, and we've still got a good few laps to go. The 170s headed by Josh Bromley, who here, by my maths, would take the championship lead as a point behind Joseph Delgado, but will pick up 20 points for the class win here. And I mentioned about Jason Burgess points. Jason will only get, if he wins, only get 17 points with 4 cars starting in the 190s. That's the way it all pans out. Tyler Ballard busy working hard though, 4th in Class B coming into the meeting. A DNF in race 1 wouldn't have improved that unless that brings some of his other scores back into play. We'll probably need to check that out for Tyler Ballard. Didn't think to do that, but mathematics will have to be done after the race. So Ballard busy chasing for the class lead. Patrick Booth is in 3rd. Patrick having a good meeting here. Side by side here, Joe Delgado with Ashton Wigley. 18-year-old passes 20-year-old, and so we've got a lot of very good, quick, young drivers in this championship. It is a great place to come and race if you're of more mature years, and we've got quite a few drivers in that older age bracket, but also it attracts a lot of young drivers, and it's effectively a no-pressure environment for the youngsters. Here is James Cole, who looks like he's caught James Dennison, so Cole driving well. You can see the race leaders in the distance. That's 4th place at the moment, so James Cole trying to close in on James Dennison. Both of these guys having won class victories this year. How competitive are the 170s? Now here goes. Now Jason Burgess has caught Doug Cole. What a recovery from Burgess, who's going to have a look down the inside. He's hard on the brakes, and Cole is not defensive at all, and Burgess goes through into the lead, retakes the lead from Doug Cole. So that little bit of contact, effectively, did that bit of contact mean that the race leader would have got away? James Cole challenging for 4th, looks on the outside of James Dennison. Side by side into Redgate. Is it still wet on the outside? Yep, Cole's got that done. James Dennison relegated. Good race between these 2 class-winning drivers in the 170s. I was thinking whether Jason Burgess would have got away from Doug Cole. Remember, Doug was catching him when they had that little rub going into Redgate, or going into the Crane of Curves, we should say. A little bit of traffic for them to deal with now. Matt Harvey, the Class C leader, is past, and again, great driving from Matt. Respectful stuff, leaving the gap for them to go through and to continue their battle for the lead. So it's Doug Cole again in 2nd position, builds momentum as they come down the straight towards the chicane, and makes the pass. Doug Cole back into the lead, and Jason Burgess again finds himself down in 2nd place. So it's Doug Cole the leader, and the 16 car's dropping away. Jason Burgess, oh, that is so sad for Jason and for us. We were enjoying a thrilling race between the pair, and into pit lane comes Jason Burgess. Burgess retires from the race, and Doug Cole is left clear maybe now to take a double victory here. What a race those two have had. It was absolutely superb up to that point. Now that means that Josh Bromley is now up to an overall podium. We're on board again with James Cole, who's having a resurgent moment. Again, super stuff from Matt Harvey, who moves clear of Delgado and Ashton Wigley, who are having a superb battle. That's now for 6th and 7th in class. Really good battle between the pair of them. So we've lost Jason Burgess, we've also lost Sam Meager, Paul Savage in Class A, Jack Chapman again, very sadly in Class B, and John Donnelly, all out of the race. And here is James Cole, still battling, now battling for a podium position. So it's Patrick Booth in front of him. And are we going to see James Cole back up the class win in race number 1 with a podium here? Adam Jackson is closing. One can only assume that Jackson's tyre setup, as well as his driving skills, pulling him closer to Doug Cole. It is all about those choices. Cole is on to the last lap here at Donington Park. What an X-Part MG Trophy meeting we've had. Jackson's just got the fastest lap, 1:22.879 for the white 79. This is the battle for 3rd place in the 170s. Everywhere you look, we've got battles on circuit. Patrick Booth will defend into Redgate. James Cole trying to close up, lights ablaze from him. Here's the class leader though, Josh Bromley still there. I tell you what, here comes James Cole down the inside up onto the podium. Patrick Booth side by side with him. Patrick again running a little bit wide there, but that gives him a bit more momentum, and James Cole trying to respect the space on the inside, side by side down the crane, as this is not an easy thing to do. Patrick Booth holds on to third place. Terrific race between the pair of them here, down to the old hairpin. I don't think this is settled by any stretch of the imagination though. Neither is this. This is the battle for the lead. Adam Jackson has closed in on Doug Cole and he's now building momentum. What can he do? Is he going to be able to maybe make the move on the inside into the chicane? We have to go back to James Cole to keep an eye on this. Out of McLean's, inside run up towards the double apex right-hander at Coppice, and James Cole is through into third place. Can he hold on to it? Cole's got it. Cole into third place. We might see Patrick Booth fight back, but the battle for the lead is going right the way to the checker, and Doug Cole makes it a double here at Donington. Doug's Donington double. He's delighted with that. Adam Jackson second. Josh Bromley is going to take the class win in the 170s. There is Josh from Tyler Ballard second in class. James Cole third, just ahead of Patrick Booth. Great battle between those. James Dennison is next. Then Joseph Delgado will have to do the sums on the championship points, but Doug Cole it is that takes the double. Adam Jackson second. Josh Bromley overall podium. And class win in Class B from Tyler Ballard and James Cole. Patrick Booth next from James Dennison and Joseph Delgado. Aston Wigley 9th. Matt Harvey wins the 160s and takes 10th position. 11th goes to Kaylee Powell, second in class for Kaylee. And 12th place, completing the finishers, is Andrew Heron. Fastest laps, the penultimate tour overall for Adam Jackson. Then James Cole in 170s and Matt Harvey in the 160s.
Doug Cole again, a common occurrence now. Did you go for slicks in the end, or was that full wets again?
No, slicks on the front, wets on the back with a medium setup. But it was a bit slidey toward the end, so another lap I think Adam would have had it. But I was just making it a really wide ZR. But yeah, it's great. I mean, at the end of the day, 2 poles and 2 wins. I don't know who got the fast. I think Adam would have got the fast lap, I would have thought, because he was on slicks all round. But yeah, it was enjoyable. Bring on Alton Park.
All right, here with Josh Bromley, winner of Class B and third overall. How was that?
Difficult. Yeah, it was sort of a decision at the start which everyone was stuck with. It was either wets or dries. No one sort of knew. It was a last minute thing and we went with dries. And yeah, first couple of laps it was still pretty wet and it was slippy, but I just managed to find a rhythm and yeah, made it stick really.
It was a really good battle on the first few laps, almost 4 wide into the first corner. How did you manage to go out on top?
I don't really know, but I completely lost the back end and I was out wide, but I just managed to sort of hang on to it and keep it around the outside, and luckily came out unscathed really.
So that's good points for the championship. Hopefully you think you're back on top now?
I'm not too sure. I've not thought about it too much yet. I think there's still quite a way to go. But yeah, it's nice to pick up some decent points this weekend.
Here with Matt Harvey, winner of Class C. How was that for you today?
First race was great. Second race we had a misfire throughout. So first few laps car was fine. I built up a lead over Kaylee. Managed to get past from the Class B cars as well. And then just about the halfway point it just started stuttering at higher revs. So I had to drop down the revs and it got worse throughout the race. I was just managing it from there. And yeah, just managed to have enough of a gap at the start to still finish first at the end. But
Joe Delgado hangs on to the championship lead by a solitary point from Josh Bromley. Matt Harvey up to third. Tyler Ballard is in fourth, ahead of James Dennison and James Cole. Jason Burgess now leads Class A by a solitary point from Adam Jackson, with Patrick Booth doubling up on his points in Classes A and B. Double celebration for Doug Cole. Please join us next time at Alton Park.